Yeah, hi everyone, I'm Elise. I am the co-founder of Asia Startup Network together with Andrew. So Andrew has been the one organizing this with our partners, Juice Story Cafe, as well as Aparna and team. Unfortunately, he can't come today because his second baby is just born. So if you know him personally, please feel free to congrats him. Yeah. So, but in any case, thanks so much for joining us and also being here on time. Thank you, Juice Story Cafe, again for partnering us and giving us the space. So since you're here, we want to share a bit about Asia Startup Network in case you're not aware of what we do. Okay, so we started since 2020, and Aparna is one of the original organizing team when we started Mentor for Hope in 2020. Yeah, so what we are is basically we had a community by the community, meaning that we wouldn't exist without the support of a large community. For example, in 2020 when we started, we had 500 entrepreneurs, investors, corporate partners just supporting our Mentor for Hope event. Just in a span of 1 month, we clocked 525 mentoring hours and we raised 43,000 in donations. So over the years, we've been able to build a network of over 3,000 entrepreneurs, investors, partners, and we raised over 180,000 in donations thanks to everyone's support and involvement. Yeah, so we have an interesting logo, but basically it means the tree refers to ecosystem, as you know, a tree is an ecosystem. And for us, we refer to the startup ecosystem, and we made it like a heart shape because we focus a lot on giving hope because that was where we started Mentor for Hope. And generally, we are at the cross junction of startup, tech, innovation, and impact. Yeah, so we often raise donations, raise awareness to charities, partners as well. And today we actually have Hani. She's representing Beyond Social Services. So if you are keen to know more, feel free to speak to her. We partner Beyond in 2020 in terms of charity donation. And last year we also played futsal with some of the youths. So if you're interested to support this cause, especially underprivileged youths, let us know. We are 100% run by volunteers, so there are quite a few of us here. So there's JC, Aparna, Adeline, Benjamin, and Rahul over there. Yeah, so if you want to find out more about ASN events and also what they do, they are in different parts of the ecosystem, feel free to reach out to them. We have organized quite a few events so far. I see quite a few familiar faces. Thanks for supporting us over the years. We generally like to bring people together so that we can impart knowledge as well as give access to contacts, investors, partners for entrepreneurs to accelerate their journey. We focus mainly on early stage entrepreneurs, like from ideation all the way to around Series A stage. Also, something interesting this year that we launched our podcast. It's called Rising Up by Asia Startup Network. So basically the idea is to be able to understand what is the story behind successful entrepreneurs and also people in the ecosystem. We also share the podcast with our charity partners because we would like, especially the youth from disadvantaged background, to be able to learn that actually success starts small, and you can always try to map your way towards something meaningful. Yeah, so please share and tune in. We also love your feedback as well. So if you're interested to join our community, we are actually existing across various platforms. So we have LinkedIn, Telegram, Slack for entrepreneurs, and some WhatsApp groups. So feel free to scan this. So this will lead you to Linktree, which it tells you where we are in terms of your favorite social media platform. Yeah. Okay, I'll just hold this here. This is one of our last slides. Yeah, so thanks again for joining us. So I actually now want to bring on Aparna. So Aparna is the CEO of Torajamelo based in Indonesia. She's also our Indonesia lead. So with her help, we've been able to run quite a few events in Indonesia, which are examples like OpenAI, with OpenAI, and other events such as like funding insights with investors in Indonesia. Yeah, so let's welcome Aparna. Thank you.
Hi everyone, good evening. I have no slides, but I'll share a bit about what I do, and then I have our products, so I hope they tell the story instead of me, rambling away in front of you with a lot of slides. So one of the reasons I'm here is I have a very strong Singapore connection. I moved from Singapore to Indonesia, and the organization that I currently lead, I came to know of that organization here in Singapore. I was with Angels of Impact. So there is Gail from Angels of Impact who's here. And I came to know of Torajamelo when I was with Angels of Impact in 2017. And then somehow, there's someone I met who said there are no coincidences, so let's call it serendipity. I landed up in Jakarta, heading last mile logistics for Lazada. And I always like to be associated with causes and projects related to women, environment, and education / children. And hence, when I landed up there, I actually reached out to the founder of Torajamelo and said, hey, I want to help out in some way because, I don't think I'm going to be in Lazada for so long, right? So let's see. And I started volunteering with her and became a part of her board of advisors. And I'm actually a seeker of challenges, so if there's no more impact I can make, I get bored. So after 2 years of turning around Indonesia for Lazada, I got an opportunity to move to Vietnam to be a part of an edtech in the founding team. So I did that for about 6 months. And then Jan 2020, I was supposed to come back to Indonesia to launch that, but we all know what started happening from Jan 2020. And that's when this founder basically reached out to me of Torajamelo. I just come back to Jakarta and I was figuring out my next steps. Do I continue? What do I do? And she basically dropped the bomb on me and said, listen, I can't do this. You take over Torajamelo. And I'm like, hey, whoa, I am adventurous, but this is a social enterprise, 100% Indonesian, and I'm an outsider. How do you expect me to run that, right? And she's like, no, I trust you. I've seen you for 3 years. So please take it. I can't do it because we need to do different things, and it needs a younger, smarter mind, in her words. Okay, and I guess for me that was very interesting because very rarely I have seen founders who will willingly give up their space to bring in others when they see that it's time for someone else to take it to the next level. Yeah. And why I'm sharing that is somewhere or the other, you would have interacted with entrepreneurs or you're yourself an entrepreneur. And this was my third experience with an entrepreneur, by the way. I've had 2 disasters. One was the edtech, and the first one was actually here in Singapore. So I was hesitant, and then I asked her 2 things. I said, listen, if I take this on, there are 2 things, right? You've got to trust me, and you've got to let me lead the way I need to lead it, right? And she basically said yes. And I think that's where, so that was June 2020. Since then, we have pivoted. We were not online. So what is Torajamelo now? We work with indigenous artisans across Indonesia, right? Largely women. So it's basically backstrap loom weaving, which is only done by women, indigenous artisans in Indonesia. We give them access to market through our lifestyle brand, Torajamelo, both B2C and B2B. We do apparel, we do homeware, and you will see some of my friends here wearing the products. There's Sonal and there's Caitlin. So that's what we do, and it's 100% from its geographical origin. So that's Torajamelo, and since I took over, we've pivoted, we went online, we got a B-corp, we got PETA Vegan approved, and we're also Forum Fair Trade certified, so we've actually come a long way in walking the talk. Also last year, I realized that the life and the working of an impact business, and I guess this is something similar across the global south and not just Indonesia, is very tough because when you try to do business the right way, it's highly expensive. So right from raw material sourcing to processing to production to go to market is very, very expensive. And then you think of an archipelago like Indonesia, boom, you're gone. yeah, because the logistics just kills you and supply chain is my background. So that's when I realized that if it's so tough for me, so it is for other 2 million artisanal MSMEs based in Indonesia. Because we all suffer from the same problem that we cannot access the market and our products do not get the site. And if we have a great product, we do not know how to market it. If we know marketing, we do not know how to do product design development because it's very difficult for us to get access to those networks. Hence, last year, I launched Ahana. So Ahana means first light of the sun in Sanskrit, and basically something that cannot die. So I launched Ahana, which is our house of brands or a multi-brand showcase. And we basically curate artisanal businesses across Indonesia that are working at an intersectionality of cultural, environment, and social sustainability. So these are really businesses that stand for something, that create great products, but also have a very strong mission. And we access market together. So one is, of course, our website, e-commerce website, ahana.co. But our main focus is to really work with them to do B2B. And really, we really want to change the whole face of, say, B2B gifting or B2B businesses where we want to bring in more conscious, well-made, high-quality, ethical products in front of customers all over. And since last year, we now have 28 brands, communities, individual entrepreneurs on Ahana. And our aim is to hit 100 by end of this year. And we're starting with Indonesia, but the mission is not limited. It's meant to be a platform, so it's meant to be scalable, and we'd love to take it across the global south. So that's me, right? And I invite you to join in, look at the products, right? Learn the stories. And what I want to leave you with is stories are extremely important, right, for impact businesses. But what really leads is a great product. So if you are creating great products backed by a strong story, then you get repeat customers, and that's what we are trying to achieve with both Torajamelo and Ahana. So thank you everyone for this opportunity to share about me and my journey. Thanks.
I'm wondering, do you have any questions? I guess, looking at the event description, there must be something that attracts you to the event. So feel free to ask Aparna. For me personally, I also want to know a bit more about B-corp. You are one of the first in Indonesia to lead a company. Yeah, what does it take? And does it require really stringent criteria to maintain, being a B-corp?
Sure. Yeah, so I think the B-corp movement in Singapore is pretty evolved. In fact, I first heard about B-corp here when I was here in 2016. And it's one of the it's known as the gold standard for ESG, so environmental, social, and governance across the world. And what it really takes is, if you want to go down the journey, you have to really look at all your processes, right? So it just doesn't mean in terms of, hey, I'm going to make an eco-friendly product. No, it will ask you to look at your entire supply chain, how you procure, who you procure from, how they make it, who do they employ, do they pay fair, right? What are the processes they use? Then how do you produce? How do you market? Do you take care of post-consumer? Then your team, right? So that's why it sort of touches on environmental, social, and governance. And then your own team, right? Like, do you pay fair, right? Do you follow the local rules and regulations? And it's literally a back-breaking, almost life-killing 120 question questionnaire, which literally goes down to all the details, and then they expect you to upload all the documents if you say that, I'm doing this, right? So to justify, and then they, of course, they check, right? So then they audit you and they check against this. I would strongly recommend it. The reason being, if you start using that as a benchmark and you start looking at your processes, it's a great exercise for you to make improvements. So I started pretty early. During the pandemic, it's a good time to actually, sort of reflect and see what you can do internally. And it really made me go deep and set up policies and processes which now are part of our DNA and now very easy for me to scale because, It's what we stand for. What becomes tough is when, you've been around long enough and you then realize, okay, I want to go down that route, so it expects you to go back and, check again. So my recommendation would be, if you're thinking of going down that route, then start sooner than later. And they have basically businesses all shapes and sizes, right? And one interesting development that I'd like to point out for all of us here in Asia, and especially Southeast Asia, is earlier their questionnaire was very West focused, right? So some of the things they used to talk about wouldn't make sense to you. You'd be like, sorry, we don't hear of this in our part of the world, right? Some of the standards. And over the years, I think they've taken the feedback from the big, Asia space, because Singapore has a very strong community, Taiwan has very strong community, right? And they've actually reviewed and started becoming much more local focused. So I think it's pretty good to go down the B-corp route, and it's for all kinds of businesses. There are consultancies, there are manufacturers, so you don't have to be doing impact, because eventually I think all of us create both positive and negative impact, right? So it's actually good to go down that route, and I think it's good for business because it adds quite a bit of credibility. So yeah, go for it, and any help needed, because I've done that, so I'm happy to help out. It did make us go for the fair trade one a bit easier because we had done that homework, right? And including the PETA vegan approved, because we had the data about ourselves. So it just makes it easier when you want to really relook at the processes.
Thank you, Aparna. And does anyone have questions? Just put out your hand and then I'll pass you the mic.
Oh, okay.
I'm good.
You mentioned that getting your B-corp certification has helped build or increase credibility. Have you seen that over the years? Like, how are you evaluating that? Like, do you see that in terms of business numbers for your brand? Do you see it in terms of more sort of suppliers or more brands willing to work with you? Just curious to understand.
So definitely more in terms of when you target larger corporates and we are looking outside your country, right? So that helps. But the other area where it helps is when you've gone through that journey, now that I'm doing Ahana, I know what to work on with my partners, right? And where I think I can help them improve. Because they all have, similar problems, and then inspire them to go down this route because it helps you improve your processes. So I will say both ways. One is more outward looking for, customer credibility, because this is really regarded in the US and Europe. Yeah. But on the supplier side, it helps you be able to talk to them with a bit of, standing, saying, been there, know what it is like, and let us help you. Yeah.
And do you see a particular type? You said you're B2B focused, or at least that's the ambition. Do you see a particular type of companies more interested in sort of these kind of products? I'm just curious because a lot of the sustainability conversation is a lot of talk, but then it doesn't follow through with action. And the other piece is also, not for Torajamelo or Ahana, but products also, I don't know, just look sustainable, which like, they, you know what I mean? Like, so how do you see that sort of having evolved, and how do you see, that having changed? How do you manage, like, balance?
Yeah. So you mean in terms of market understanding?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll be very honest. I think Asia, we are far behind in terms of our understanding of, high quality, good products, right? Because we're still extremely, extremely price conscious, right? Large part of Asia, right? So essentially still it's the global north and the west that drives this conversation on sustainability. They're more aware, they have stricter standards, right? And often, I'll be very honest, what works in Indonesia is when you say, hey, my product sells in US, my product is there in Japan, because they look up to Japan, then they're like, oh, yeah, now I want it. So I think it's also, if I can be very honest, colonized minds. So we are dealing with a lot of colonized minds. So it's a big decolonization pitch that we have to work towards. But it's moving. Yeah.
Positive outcome of FOMO, I guess.
Yeah. So honestly, I think it helps. And then I guess the whole point is the more we do this, the more mainstream it will become, right? Because otherwise it becomes like the movement of the hippies and these very expensive products that people cannot relate to. And that's really not sustainable, because if we really want the cost of business and cost of creating good products to go lower, we need more people to want it, and that will then lead to more regulatory change and more businesses also, taking that up. So it's moving there, and honestly, Europe has now released very strict guidelines. So any business that's wanting to do business with Europe in any kind, especially in terms of products, they'll be forced to now. And I'm hoping we start doing it in our part of the world, right? Yeah.
I can just project. Okay, hi, Aparna. I think in any social enterprise, we talk about the double bottom line, right? So profit and impact. And I think just now you kind of mentioned how, in Indonesia is so big, the costs are really high. So could you share a bit about how you navigate this tension in your experience, and how do you overcome this, tension within this? Thank you.
Yep, great question. So actually, it's not even double, it's actually triple bottom line. So really, it is people, planet, and profit, because you don't operate in isolation, and we've absolutely made a big mess of the whole environment. So I think we need to start getting responsible. It is tough, right? So one of the reasons I'm here also is to explore market, because I can't just rely on Indonesia, right? I can't wait for Indonesians to have that aha moment where they're like, hey, let's buy local and let's take the pride, back. It's gonna take a while. So essentially, it's extremely tough, and you have to figure where your market lies, and you have to figure what you stand for and where do you want to play, right? So do I want to do mass or do I want to do class, right? Do I want to do value for money or do I want to do money for value? And what do I mean by that is, whatever we create, the money is for that value that people get, right? So you've got to decide which market you start playing in first, because otherwise what happens is, if you play in very commoditized marketplaces, you will basically not be able to survive. So I think it always starts with a journey of where you want to play, and then you learn. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just curious, is anyone looking to build an impact or social enterprise here? Just put out your hand. Okay. Anyone who is already running one, like an impact enterprise or social enterprise? Yeah, thank you. Any other question for Aparna?
Yeah, I'm curious. I'm curious how you, like what you talked about that I thought was really relevant is that there are a lot of sort of artisanal brands, and I'm curious, like when you're trying to sort of appeal to lots of different markets, how do you sort of work with, let's say, local designers and local, kind of because maybe the kinds of patterns and the kinds of clothes that they wear are quite different. So I'm just curious from a practical thing, how you kind of build that sort of kind of balance that so you don't also lose out on what's really beautiful about what's local.
Yeah, so I would say you got to be really ready for a very uphill battle. I think my dark circles say that. Yeah, a bit of it is hereditary, but the rest of it is the life I lead. So honestly, it is tough, right? And you've got to figure out the middle ground. So it's about respecting the artisan's craft, right? So it's about giving them their space, their creative, their creative space, right? And their creative license. But at the same time, the market, right? For example, how we do with Torajamelo is the weaving motifs are indigenous to their geographical origin, but the color palettes come from us. Because if we leave it to them, they will create products that maybe only belong in Desi Gwal, right? And I think it has a very, very specific audience indeed. So I think you have to find the middle ground, and honestly, it's a relationship of respect that takes years to build. So Torajamelo has been around for 16 years. Okay, and now we work with 15 different locations. So it is literally a lot of labor, right? And you've got to be willing to go down that route, right? And you have to find that balance, and which includes, by the way, so just to share with you all, because this is Singapore, and Singapore recognizes social enterprises. Outside of Singapore, this concept does not exist. So if you want to do impact work, we have a private limited, but we also create a foundation. and the foundation does the non-profit teaching work. So how we operate is the non-profit does the capacity building. So we take them to a certain level where they're ready for market, and then the private limited will come in and buy the products of them. But one thing we are very clear, so this is where we strike the balances. We're not their only off-taker. We don't do exclusive agreements. Our aim is to not create just our own supply chain, because that creates dependencies. We essentially take them to a certain level and then say, listen, we will work with you provided you match my quality, but here I have given you this capability, so go seek others. And our aim is to, connect them to others. And Toraja, where we started from, honestly, right now, Toraja doesn't need Torajamelo. They have a very thriving local market. It actually survived and thrived during the pandemic because the local market had gotten revived by them. And that's our thesis. We want to replicate that because exclusivity is not good for, anyone. Yeah.
Any other question?
Really curious to hear more about the thinking behind your dual structure, and if you are willing to share like how you think about shareholdings and who holds what in each.
Okay, yeah, a great question, right? Because currently Torajamelo is still locally owned, right? So it's not, in Indonesia it's called as PT PMA, which is foreign owned. So Torajamelo is not, so it's 100% locally owned. And it's still largely held by the founder, right? So legally, I don't hold a stake, but I do have an agreement with her at the back. And my recommendation is that if you're trying to do something like this outside of Singapore, because Singapore is very supportive, I think you need to have the right people to create the organization with, because usually social businesses, when they exist in certain countries, the government are very supportive of the locals, but if you try to run it as a foreigner, it's extremely tough. Don't ever think of going to Vietnam in the near future, right? So I guess you have to be very selective of that, right? And then in terms of shareholding, so we keep it separate, right? So honestly, the books are then separate. It run as two separate organizations, can have common teams, but you figure out how you balance the costs. What we tend to do is for our non-profit work, it's always grant-based. So it's grants from donors for specific projects, which completely tracks everything, right? Right to the T in terms of what expenses, where it was used. And then operational costs are of course shared because, I head both the foundation and Torajamelo and Ahana, so basically it's how I divide my time, right? So that's how we do now. I think as you scale, strongly recommend putting up separate teams because I think it's good administratively, operationally, but also legally because then it's less complications. I hope it helps, yeah, Gail. And as of now, no change in Indonesia yet in terms of this interpretation of social enterprises yet, yeah.
Does anyone else have a question for Aparna?
Okay, sure. So my question is, how do you build a team? And I think how do you build a community? Because I think no one man is an island, but it's a really tough issue. So I wanted to hear your insights.
The reality is no different in Indonesia, and honestly, I'll tell you. I speak with my peers, it's become a global phenomenon, so it's become very difficult to build the right teams, especially if you're a small business, startups, early stage. I guess it comes with, I would say for us, it's been very iterative, and it's taken me a long time to find the right people. I can't say I have them all yet. So I guess you go along the way, but what you do is I create a list of what I don't want, right? So instead of what I want, I have a list of what I do not want my team members to be, right? And I use that to do my interviews to actually give them a reality to what it's going to be. Some of them are here, right, two of them, and they will know the kind of interview I did. So I think that's the way I figure out, where you literally paint the worst picture saying, this is what your life is going to be like, and are you willing? So come on board, because If you're looking for great salaries, lovely hours, sorry, this is not the place to be. So it is tough, yeah? Because in the initial stage, you need people who have skin in the game, who really believe in what you're trying to do. And I try to look for a combination of head, heart, and guts. If one of them is missing, it's very difficult to get a strong core team, right? And then next one on community, I think the first step is you need to be willing to give before you want to get. So, I mean, that's how we were able to do Mentor for Hope and, other work is you need to be willing to sort of be aligned to the cause, right? Like what kind of community you want to set, right? And then be willing to like share and give and be very consistent with it, right? Be consistent in trying to support it, grow, and sort of, farm and cultivate it. And then it starts, giving back. So I guess that's what I would say. But your question, were you talking about communities in the rural areas, indigenous ones, or general? In general, okay, great. Because that's a completely different process altogether, and it's a nightmare. Basically, because you have to really spend a lot of time winning their trust, gaining their respect, and then, as I said, right, as Tara was asking, that you have to sort of create a level playing field, because otherwise they end up always wanting you to help them. And while we have a non-profit, but we are not just a non-profit, right? We want them to be able to stand on their feet. So I think it's about also having some tough decisions. I mean, there are communities we have trained, but we do not do business with them because they're really not ready for us, but they're possibly ready for others, and we don't work with them for business, but we are happy to do capacity building for them. So I think it's also a tough call that not all are meant for you and you're not meant for all. That goes for team members too. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Aparna, and also for all your thoughtful questions. Can we give it up for Aparna? Yeah, so next I'm going to invite Annie, who is the founder and owner of Juice Stories Cafe. So as she's setting up, I'm going to share her bio in case you haven't had a chance to read it. Yeah, so Annie has spent nearly a decade assisting a diverse group of Singaporeans, including older workers and individuals with special needs, in finding employment. So because these two groups hold a special place in her heart, as she deeply empathizes with the challenges that they face in the job market. So here, Juice Stories is a testament of the power of social entrepreneurship. She started it as a home-based business in 2019, but it's grown into a kiosk and now a thriving social enterprise cafe. So along this journey, it has positively impacted the lives of 20 beneficiaries, including special needs individuals, older workers, and ITE students. Yeah, so her goals are simple yet impactful. They strive to create a safe and inclusive environment for her beneficiaries, fostering self-confidence and social integration. So they have this Learn, Earn, and Grow program, equipping them with necessary skills and knowledge to thrive in their jobs and personal lives. Yeah. So I think Annie is really amazing, and we're really glad to be here in her really nice, cafe and having our event. I'm sure many of you also enjoy the juice, the beverages, and the food as well. Yeah. So as we wait for her to get ready, so just feel free to take photos, and we love if you could put up photos of the events and your takeaway on social media and tag us. Yeah, so that would be very much appreciated.
Hello, good evening, everybody. Can you hear me? Loud and clear. Oh, only one person can hear me. Right from my soul supporter, Hui Si. Welcome to Juice Stories, and on behalf of Juice Stories, we want to thank ASN for giving us this opportunity to host the venue. We are very proud, and today we have a few of us serving you in front. That's me and my partner, Patricia. She's helping out in the kitchen. And Hui Si, hi, say hi to everybody. Yeah, she's moving around looking for your names in case. She's the secondary 4 of APSN. special needs school, Tanglin Special Needs School. So she'll be attached with us for a couple of months before she graduates and move on to Delta Senior School. Okay. So Jude's story started 4 years ago, where I had autoimmune disease for 20 over years, looking for a cure for my autoimmune disease. Do you think that there's any cure for autoimmune disease? Anybody say yes, put up your hand. Ayo, so silent. So sad. No, I haven't found a cure, but I found something that is manageable, that can help me to manage on my immune system and boost my vitality. Okay, that is pure, natural vegetables and fruits. I've tried many supplements. I've tried TCM. The TCM that I tried is good, but it's too strong for me. I end up having jaundice and almost liver failure. Yeah. 3 times almost died because of bleeding, and 3 times is all saved by my partner, which is also my god sister, Patricia. Yeah, so fruits and vegetables is always very good for us because it's natural. It gives us all the vitamins and minerals that we need. So during the time, 2019, when my mom was ill, I took time off to stay with her, and also took the time to look out for something that I can do to improve my health. So I started off with juicing. And my friends say, hey, why not? You do it on a business, you know, business that can help others to also improve their health. So I started at home. I started in 2019, if you still remember. And what happened to 2020? COVID lah. And home-based business also have to stop. Do you all know that? Yeah, so we stopped for a while, got nothing to do, end up we sold masks for the children. Yeah, and then I also took up digital marketing course. Yeah, so this is a lifelong learning believer, okay? So then after that, we managed to get a kiosk, and we also signed up with RAISE, which is the Association for Social Enterprise. Okay, we want to be a legit social enterprise. We also want to get help from RAISE to help us to foster partnership, business contacts, training, mentorship, and this is what RAISE can help us with. If you're thinking to start a social enterprise, this is the association that you have to join. I'm not selling, I'm not paid. And our first kiosk was at SG Enabling Village. Have you all been there before? No, I must go and visit, okay? They have very beautiful art faculty, yeah? It's supported by the Autism Association. Yeah, they make a very beautiful art pieces. And there's also another restaurant over there called the Professor Braun, also managed by autism students. Okay, so we started our little shop there. Dream big, start small, very small. Only, yeah, only like probably this area, yeah, half of this area. And then we started doing juices. Not only juices for the individuals, but we do a lot of corporate juices. Companies, they are looking for staff wellness. We'll send juices to the companies. Or those who have booths and pop-up that invited us, that's where you see us. And then these are the group of people that we started to help. 2 elderlies, 3 special needs, and 4 ITE interns. Yeah, although it's a small setup, but along the way, we find all the special needs are different talents. You know, Ernest can remember all the dates very well. Yeah, Ami, she's from Mines, and he is very quiet. And until the end of the whole training program, he's very talkative. Yeah. So we are still in touch with them, even though he has moved on to join another company. Okay. And when we had an opportunity to look for a new place, Sports Singapore was very kind. They asked us, why don't you consider expanding into a cafe? I was like, a cafe? My background was from Workforce Singapore, helping people to find jobs. Yeah, placing people in F&B, but I've never done F&B. My partner, she was from logistics, very good at operations, but never done F&B. So we said, okay lah, try. Because we have to go through the tender process, you know. There's no shortcut for all the government units. So we put in and we say, put in something that we may not get it on. Do you all ever think like that? Yeah, just do lah, but you know, you tell yourself you won't get it. Do you have such kind of thinking? Yeah, it happens, right? Yeah, the more you think that you won't get it, you get it. We got it. I mean, to be honest, we put in the rental, it's all about rental. We put in the rental based on what we think we could afford every month. Okay, as compared to the big guys is double, if not triple, you know, our rental. But Sports Singapore supports social enterprise. They support us with the social mission and believe in us because we supported two groups. One is special needs, the other group is older workers. So they believe in us and they want us to do more. Okay, so by leap of faith, we've dived into this F&B area. Is it okay, this place? Nice. Yes? Oh, thank you. So we learned along the way a lot of hard knocks, a lot of challenges that we face. Nothing come easy. This place is designed for special needs, to help our special needs feel happy. So the center table, which is called the island table, okay, is meant to be networking for companies or small groups, you know, so that they can see each other, eat and chit-chat. But my crew team will call it, this is not island table, there's no island there. We call this flower table. I said, okay, flower table. And over here, this wall, yeah, we put up some pictures and they say, hey, it's not good enough, we want colors. So we ask our customers, which is yourself later, help us to write some words of encouragement, which we can pin it up and share it with our crew members. So when they see their names or they see encouraging message, they will feel very motivated. And of course, very spacious here because it's meant for wheelchair accessible. And we want it colorful and light to make everybody happy. Not only our crew members are happy, we are happy, and we also want our customers to be happy. Okay. So this is the team that we started with last year. Yes, we managed to hire more special needs, more older workers, and also more IT students, okay? They come and join us. It's my birthday. Okay, what is important in our heart to us is team. Then come products and system. I mean, to others, maybe product, system, then team. Okay, why? Because we wanted to support these two groups. So everything that we do, we put them into our first consideration. Is it something that they can do? Is it something that they can manage? You know. Then we think about how can we transfer skills and knowledge to them? How can we help them to communicate? Yeah, even Hui Si, although she has been with us, a few months, she's been doing very well. How to help them to build confidence and how to, most importantly, is integrate with the community. I mean, I was quite worried when we first started is how does the community, you know, interact with special needs, especially some of them will have different behavior, but thankfully, this message helped. Yeah, this message helps a lot. It helps in a sense that we preempt our customers that they will be served by special needs, and sometimes we are slower. So over here, we serve slow food. Yeah. Over there, they have fast food. Yeah. So if you want to chill and enjoy, then come to slow food. Eat slowly and chit-chat with your friends, you know. Yeah. Then in terms of products, the food that we serve, if you look at the menu, it's very simple. Today is even simpler because there's a big group and we know that the kitchen, you know, will be very busy. So we only select the aglio olio. Yeah. So other days we have sandwiches and also of course pasta and juices is always there. Yeah. So we have a wider range of menu for other days. System-wise, At first, we thought many cafe right now, they do self-collection, right? Yeah, have you all come across? Yeah, we also started self-collection. That means we'll ting, the customer go over there and collect their food, right? But then I just realized that our team members are doing nothing. They're just standing there and doing nothing. So he said, no, in order for them to practice and interact with the customers, they must serve. It is only through serving then they will learn to communicate and also understand what the customers need. Yeah. Okay. Heart versus mind. It's very important. What do you think? Do you think I have heart more or mind more? Yeah, yes. I'm quite balanced. Certain times I have mind more when it comes to business things. Otherwise, people, it's always heart more. Yeah. My partner and I balance it very well. Where I'm using my heart, she will use her mind. Yeah. And when we are using our mind, she will also use her mind. Yeah. So she will sort out things for me very logically, what can be done, what cannot. Yeah. Whereas for me, I think about more emotion. Yeah. How does the individual feel when we take on projects? Yeah. We don't only serve here, but we also go outside to customers' place to serve as well. Okay. Very important to us is business sustainability. It doesn't come by chance that customers will walk in, especially in this area. This is Delta Sports Center. We are almost 95% dependent on the customers that comes for sports. That means those who play badminton, go to the gym or the swimming pool. Last week, the badminton hall was closed for 1.5 weeks because of repair and maintenance, and business is badly affected. Yeah. Because this is not a shopping mall, so we don't have the natural footfall. And we have to work very hard to work with corporates to bring them over for lunch or organize some events like today, yes. Yeah, so that is how we have to continue working very hard to make it sustainable. Because this model happens a lot in schools. You know, there are some cafe in special needs schools, but there are not many in the community that serve all just by special needs. So we wanted to do this model, and hopefully there's somebody can replicate this along the way, so we can, have more inclusive hiring, cafes around. And environment, yes, it's also the in thing that we have to take care of the environment. How do we do that? We do that first by our glass bottle. We serve our juices in glass bottle. Because number one, the juices chills better in glass bottle, and number two is more environmental friendly. Yeah. Also, the juices, after the juices, we have the pulp, right? Yeah. If anybody want pulp, let us know. It is very good to compose it into fertilizers. We give it away to our customers and also donate to schools as well. Okay, these are our corporate partners. So if you are not there yet, please come and support us. Okay, the last slide must sell a bit of pollo, show you all the pictures of our food. I always believe and live by this phrase. If you have grown because of someone, let someone grow because of you. And that is what we are doing today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Annie. Maybe we just have you here for a while in case people have questions. Yeah, but you can see that Annie is indeed very inspiring, and look at all the good things that she's been doing for the employees, as well as also now educating us on how to build a sustainable social enterprise. Do you have any question for her?
How do you support these special needs people, because they operate very differently from us, and sometimes they may not come in with the right frame of mind, right? Or sometimes they could have a certain meltdown for whatever reasons. So how do you run your business and able to effectively manage your staff in a different way?
Yes, we not only work with the person with special needs, but we also work with their parents. Yeah, we are very close to the parents in a sense that we'll WhatsApp, if there's any behavior that we notice or, something that's not right for the crew members, we will immediately give feedback to the parents. It is very important for parents, for parents of special needs to be honest with us. Yeah. I mean, many times I also realize that when we go for interview, right, we always tell our employers the best part of us and not the ugly side of us. It's same with the parents of special needs. They will not tell you everything. Yeah. You will have to go and discover, the behavior of the individuals. So we treat everybody as very special, very individualistic. We understand their behavior before when they are working. So we observe them and assess them. We will give them training. And most of the time, the first 3 months are good behavior. No? Good, right? A normal, neurotypical person also good behavior, right? Agree? No? Everybody smiling. And then the pattern come out. The pattern come out the 4th, 5th, 6th month. And that's where we have to work with the parents to address some of them. Some parents deny, there's no choice, so sometimes we may have to end. We start them with a training program first. It is a 6 to 12 months training program. That's the time where we observe them. If they cleared this 6 to 12 month training program and they are keen to join us, then we will convert them to become our staff. Yeah. So that is the 6 months that I'm talking about, which is important, that we spend time to understand them. I think what is more important for them is the working hours. There's this thing called flexi working hours. It's also the in thing right now. We really give them flexi working hours. Either 4 hours, okay? We'll start everybody with a 4-hour shift, depending on their physical capabilities, 3 days or 2 days a week. And then from there, after 3 months, stretch. Stretch 1 more day or stretch another hour. Yeah. So it is very tough for us when we do scheduling, manpower scheduling. But that is the thing that we have to do. Yeah, sometimes very tiring. Yeah, physically and mentally, because if they can't cope with the crowd, we have to come in and help. Yeah. But it is, at the end of the day, I feel a sense of satisfaction because I have made an impact to their life, and I hope that they can go a longer way after coming to Just Stories. Yeah. Thanks, Julie.
Yeah, I think it's really inspiring. And you mentioned about hiring. I think if you are enterprise business owners, you know that it's already takes so much to run your own business. And for her, Annie, she has to take care of employees as well. So I think it's really, really challenging. Making a tremendous contribution to the community. And also, I have a question. So in terms of someone running a social enterprise, are there grants, support by the government? Maybe you can share more. Yeah.
Yes, there are some grants that definitely a business startup can think about. Purchasing of equipments or software. We tap on PSG grants, Productivity Solution Grant, that help us to design our website and then subsequently help us to buy some equipments, kitchen equipments as well. Back then was 70%. Yeah. But right now, as of now, it is 50%. Yeah. We also tap on the energy efficient grant that help us to buy aircon. Yeah. Also back then, it's still now 70%. Yeah. So there are some grants that help us a lot. And of course, training, we have the Skills Future Credit, that we can tap on, that we can send our crew members for training. In F&B, food safety certificate is a mandatory requirement for those who work in the kitchen. Yeah. We are very naughty. Not only us, we take the food safety cert, we make our family also take. then they can come and volunteer at the end weekend, not so loud. Yeah, yeah, I mean, it is not only us, but we have a lot of family support. Yeah, I think that is important as well. Yeah, so tap on this grant for startup. Oh. Oh, okay. Thank you, Demi, right? Yes, thank you, Demi, for sharing.
I also heard about the enabling grant. Do you use it?
Yes,
Okay.
I tap on enabling grant for hiring, the training part. Just now I mentioned 6 to 12 months of training program. They have two programs you can consider. One is called Attach and Train, which they provide you with some funding for the training period and also the training courses if you intend to send them for. The other one is Place and Train. Yeah, it's also for 1 year period. So at least it gives you a longer way, yeah, to stretch your dollar lah. Because as a startup, every dollar counts. We don't have any backup. Everything that you see here, it is actually the savings from myself and my partner. Yeah, so we don't have kausan. Nobody, right? Yeah.
Thank you. Anyone have more questions for Annie?
Yes. Okay. So there are a few things. Number one is for staff wellness. So company can purchase juices to be distributed to the staff. We can bring our team there to even help the company to distribute. So at least the staff are aware of where are the juices come from and which are the group of beneficiaries that they are supporting. The other one is events. Yeah, if they have any pop-up events organized by companies, we can also participate as well. Yeah. Thank you.
That's a great question. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Looking forward to HP support.
Yeah. Anyone have question? Feel free.
Yeah, first of all, I want to say, you have amazing energy. It's very, infectious. So thank you for that. The other thing I wanted to ask you is that, I think it's really, what would you say about what inspired you to do this model is one part. And then the second part is, I'd love to know that we read so much in tech in different places about, people out of colleges, entrepreneurs and whatever. And you said that, you've never maybe been entrepreneurial in this aspect on your own, and I'd love to know what made you feel like being an entrepreneur at this, in this chapter or of your life or whatever else it is, and how has that been for you on a personal note?
Yeah, thank you for the question. Very much is actually my heart. Yeah, because working in Workforce Singapore for 10 over years, I've been helping Singaporeans and the PRs looking for jobs. Older workers and special needs are the one that is toughest for them to find jobs. I ever helped almost 60 plus uncle. He come back every 3 months and look for me. And I asked him, Uncle, I've been giving you a lot of referrals. Why can't you stay in the job? I didn't know that he need to rest and he cannot work full time. So that was my wake up call. How can we help older workers to have a flexi schedule for them, and yeah, I bring that along when we started the business. Why I started the business? Actually, I thought it was a retirement plan. It's supposed to be retirement career for Pat and I. Do something small, just do at home. Then after that, pop, a kiosk. Do a kiosk, then a kiosk come, Sport Singapore, do a bigger one. It's always, then it's ruled by the heart. They say, can we? We always test ourselves. Do more. I mean, the more we do, the more people benefit. Why not? At least when I look back, I'm not leaving a lot of money behind, but at least I have leave something behind for them. Yeah, so it wasn't as planned. It was a dream, but the dream went other way. Yeah, but still a dream. Yeah. So dare to dream, and you will make it happen. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a calling to be able to run a social enterprise successfully. Yeah. So, any more questions that we have for Annie?
I guess I want to tickle along that line of something. So, what is your bigger dream now?
My bigger dream, somebody can take this model and run another cafe to be served by our special needs and older workers. Why not? Yeah.
Is this an invitation to everyone here?
Yes. Anybody, yeah, we can collaborate, and that is what social enterprise is all about. Yeah.
Yeah, for me, my day job is in Vertex Ventures, the VC. You know, I always find that it's so easy to look at the group that is willing to pay and able to pay. You know, it's so easy to serve them. Yeah, so I want to leave you with the challenge of how do you come up with innovation and use your gifts to actually serve the bottom of the pyramid. Yeah, that is a more challenging and fulfilling task. Any more question for Annie?
Last one.
Hi, I'm JC. So actually not really a question, but I just want to thank like both speakers. I think I also don't know what to expect when I came here, but I really feel that both of you are sharing, really I feel the social impact through it. Okay, and I think maybe, I think one thing I'll do maybe is I'll look for my company and manager to see, you know, maybe can use this location to host the next gathering. Because previously, you know, after every year, the budget and quarter, right, they always go those kind of you know, hotel for like buffet and everything, right? I think this will ring a bell with them, so I'll encourage everyone to do it also. Yeah, that's from me. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I hope everybody can help us to do a Google review. Yeah, it's just behind Aparna, the Google review. Yeah, thank you for coming over here and enjoy the networking.
Okay, actually, before we go, Aparna is so generous. She prepared quite a few door gifts. And if you have been, you know, listening to the talks, you'll be able to walk away with a door gift. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to ask question. So it's fastest fingers first. So you just so you know, put your hand, and then if we point to you, then just say what is the answer that you think is correct, okay? And then whoever get it right, you get a gift from Aparna. There are 6 questions, okay? So 6 gifts to be won. Okay, so the first one is, when was Asia Startup Network or Mentor for Hope founded? Which year? Okay.
2020.
Yes, you're right. Thank you.
Just a bit about the door gift. This is an impact business run by a female Indonesian, and basically she felt that the whole personal care industry, we used to take a lot of recipes inspired by the West, and she's an Indonesian Indian, so she said both our countries have so much, so she's literally created these recipes from both the cultures, and it's all really catering to the Asian skin and comedogenic and everything, so really good for sensitive skin. So hope, and it's a travel pack, so hope you enjoy. And the plastic is recyclable. I've nagged her about it, so she's gotten there. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, the second question is, what are some of the UN SDG goals that Torajamelo is focused on? So this is a bit more tough.
Responsible sourcing, gender equality, poverty alleviation.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, Aparna. Yeah, so I'll just read out the answer again, okay? So UN SDG 1, no poverty. 5, gender equality. 12, responsible consumption and production. 13, climate change. Okay, so the third question, as a social enterprise, who does Juice Stories employ? That should be easy.
So for senior citizens and people, IT students as well, and people with disabilities. Yeah.
Thank you. You're right. Okay, 3 more questions, 3 more chances of winning. Where can you find Asia Startup Network newest impact channel? Like as in, wait, let me.
Social media channels. Okay, there's YouTube, there's Telegram, I think there's LinkedIn also. Yeah, I would remember these 3. And hopefully this can pass.
Correct. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, for following us. Yeah, so just elaborate more. So we have a Slack channel for entrepreneurs only. So this is a safe space for aspiring entrepreneurs, operators, and current entrepreneurs, to ask questions. So people ask lots of questions about fundraising, about product development, hiring, and so on. So if you're interested, you can always, write to me or message me. I think I have bombarded you all with a lot of emails, so feel free to bombard me back. We also have Telegram, which is open to anyone. So this one also include our investors as well. Yeah, so this one, you need to ask questions with understanding the nuance, right? It's unlike the Slack community with only entrepreneurs. And then LinkedIn, we usually share our events as well as the initiative that we support. We do have quite a few partners in the ecosystem like NUS, NTU, SMU. So we also promote their events as well. Recently, I set up a Women in Tech and Business chat group. So Julie, Aparna, all inside. If you are women in tech or business, we do get together for events. We are currently running a women's circles, which is journeying with the same group of women every 2 weeks across a span of 3 months, so that we can discuss questions like how do we handle, juggle lots of priorities, how do we overcome, like perception around self-promotion and so on. So Julie is actually one of our facilitators, yeah. Okay, so the last 2 questions. The 5th one is, when was Ahana created by Torajamelo to increase awareness and availability of ethical consumption? Which year? Second. Can just do a wild guess. It's definitely not this year, right? So, you put your hand.
2023.
That's right, it's 2023. Yeah. Thank you. Okay, so last but not least, which is I think quite simple, is what are the ingredients in the beet punch? So if you have taken juices, okay, put out your hand if you want to try. We won't penalize for extra ingredients.
Beetroot, carrot, and apple.
Yeah, yes.
Orange.
Lime, ginger.
Lime,
correct?
Yeah.
Ginger.
No ginger. Okay. Yeah, but we'll give you credit for taking the initiative. So it's beetroot, carrot, which he mentioned, apple, lime, and grape. Okay. Yeah. So thanks again, Aparna and Annie as well for sharing your stories and also answering our questions. I would like to just leave you to the network, meet people, unless anyone have question before we end. Okay, no? Yeah, so feel free to, walk around, mingle, have more drinks, have more food. Yeah, we'll end probably around 8:30-ish. Yeah, so we hope that you make friends. Yeah, so just reiterate. So we have our volunteers here. So Benjamin, JC, Kai, Aparna. Yeah, so you can reach out to them if you would like to know more about ASN. And then we have Honey here, Beyond Social Services. So they are doing amazing work. One of the most recognized social enterprises, charities, yeah, in Singapore. You want to share a bit?
Okay, I'll try. Okay, so basically, hi, I'm Hani. So I'm a community worker at Beyond Social Services. So for us, right, we support our families who are in low income, who stays in public rental flats. So how we do, we support them is through community building work. So there's this, I'm not sure if everyone knows, ABCD concept, asset-based development. Yeah, so we tap on their gifts and strengths and the skills that they can contribute towards each other lah. I mean, because there's already deficit of things in their lives. So we believe that, by helping one another, like their neighbors, they can actually create a more thriving communities lah. Yeah, and also at the moment we operate around Red Hill, like Lengkok Bahru, Henderson, and then we do have in Ang Mo Kio around Whampoa as well. Yeah, and it's I think over 60 blocks. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Honey. Okay, thank you. Thanks for joining us, and we hope you have a nice evening. Yeah, thank you.